I was first aware of Joey Pantoliano from The Idolmaker. Who saw The Idolmaker? I love that movie! Okay. And then, as Guido the Killer Pimp in Risky Business. Oh my God, okay, he scared me. Then every television show and movie ever made that utilized an Italian-American, including The Sopranos, it was Joey, and he pretty much always scared me. We share a co-star, Michael Imperioli, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
You know, only,
wow.
yeah, wow. All right. And he was lovely and didn't scare me until yesterday when he asked me if I swore it was going to be cool in here, and if it wasn't, I don't know what was going to happen to me. And if you ladies don't buy books, I don't know what's going to happen to me, so you better buy books. Okay. All right. Don't forget it's Father's Day. It makes a great gift. Okay. An acclaimed actor, producer, and best-selling author boasting over 100 film, television, and stage credits, Joey Pantoliano, also known as Joey Pants, has been revered and honored for his unique and entertaining portrayals. His resume is a catalog of classic American film and television titles, a testament to his uncanny ability to pick a winner. A favorite player wielded by master filmmakers like Richard Donner, Steven Spielberg, Andrew Davis, and the Wachowski brothers, Pantoliano is a dependable scene stealer. We know that. His theatrical work, a grand collection of memorable roles, includes such films as Risky Business, The Goonies, La Bamba, Midnight Run, Bad Boys 1 and 2, Empire of the Sun, The Fugitive, The Matrix, Memento, and Daredevil. And who can forget his portrayal of the eccentric mobster Ralphie from HBO's landmark series, The Sopranos. Oh my God, okay. For which he won a Best Supporting Actor Primetime Emmy in 2003. What's that noise? Oh, stop it, Joey. During the same period, Joey wrote and published the New York Times bestseller, Who's Sorry Now? The Story of a Stand-Up Guy, a bittersweet memoir about growing up in an Italian-American family in New Jersey. Pantoliano's recent work includes a starring role in Falling Up, which he produced and starred in the CBS drama Waterfront, and a thought-provoking feature, Canvas, opposite Marcia Gay Harden, which won the Best Film and landed him the Outstanding Actor Award at the 2007 Sedona International Film Festival. Inspired by his role in Canvas, Pantoliano started his own non-profit organization, No Kidding, Me Too, which is dedicated to removing the stigma associated with mental illness. Joey's second book, Asylum, Hollywood Tales from My Great Depression, Brain Disease, Recovery, and Being My Mother's Son, just dropped in April. I'm not going to tell you about it, because he is. Ladies, please welcome Joey Pants.
Actually, it just dropped last week. So,
Oh, wow. Nice.
as you all know, you wonderful writers all, reviews sell books in the age of electronics. So when you buy the book, and I guarantee you'll like it. If you can go on Amazon.com and write reviews, I just got a great review. It was hysterical. See, I'm dyslexic, and I have attention deficit disorder. And no kidding, me too. And you're probably a lot younger than I am. But when I was born, it wasn't a disease, you know, it was either you were stupid, lazy, or crazy. And my mother was very frustrated with me, and you know, I started to understand when I started getting depressed in about, well, right after 9/11, it started to become an abyss, and I think it just shook up the foundation of all of the trauma that I had stuffed away, you know. And as I got closer to it, I realized that my mother wasn't, I mean, that crazy meant crazy. See, I never knew that crazy meant crazy. And when I wrote my first book, it was really just a lark, lackadaisical, this crazy family. You know, my mother, cousin Flory came home from college when I was 12 years old, and he lived with us. And then 2 weeks later, you know, he was on the couch, and then Daddy was on the couch, and cousin Flory was in the bedroom, and you know, and then Mommy, you know, they sent Daddy off to Florida, and you know, Mommy said if it wasn't for Flory, we'd be out on the street, and your father is no good, and you know, he ain't really your father. And I said, what do you mean? And, you know, I'm 12 years old. And she said, you know, Flory's your father. And you know, she was, the poor thing, she was so afraid that she would lose me that she had to build a case. My mother's love for me was always conditional, you know, and the condition was, you have to love me. Remember that you love me. You can have 5 wives, but you only have one mother. You know, and before I grew up, it was like, remember, the best man in the world ain't good enough for the worst hooah. Right? And I said hooah on The Sopranos, I was, you know, my mother. So when I was diagnosed with clinical depression, because as I sat in our beautiful house in Wilton, Connecticut, 4 acres, looking out at this magnificent lake, well, I thought it was a lake, you know, for 3 years I thought it was a lake, it was a pond. But I couldn't understand why I was so dead and you know, I had gotten everything that I ever wanted. My life, I mean, I knew that I was gonna save my life. I was going to fill this emptiness that was in the core of my soul. And that by going to Hollywood or getting inside my mother's TV, my mother's TV was my asylum. And that's where I saw Italian-American actors, and Perry Como show, and Sinatra lived on Monroe Street just like me. And you know, I played Little League Baseball, and when the ball would go over the fence, it would bounce down by the viaduct and the docks where the ships would come in, and that little houseboat that Johnny Friendly operated out of, and where Marlon Brando and on the waterfront. He took a beating, and then he had to walk between those men. Well, they were cousins and uncles, and you know, and during the Christmas holidays, we'd always try to pick out our cousins. There's John Wayne, and there's Mikey Mike, and there's Mickey the Krabs, and you know. And my dad, I remember, because I was born in 51. They made the movie in 53. It was released in 54. But I remember my dad saying, you know, Joey, I come here and I see Marlon Brando and he's covered in chocolate syrup. And he's hanging out with the guys and he's talking like us, and then he gets in this limousine, he goes back to New York. And there's a lot of money in lying. You know, and I thought, well, I was already a hell of a liar. You know, I was a liar, a thief, a cheat. I remember it was 2 years ago, my wife Nancy and my 3 kids, no, my 2 kids, because Melody was already out of the house and grown up. They had gone to Florida to see the grandparents. And I had gone down to the laundry room where Daniela was living in the basement apartment, and I went through her room because it was easier. And I remember seeing about 20, 25 bucks in small bills in a clump on a bureau. And I started crying because I could never do that in our house. We could never leave any money lying around because we would rob it. You know, and somehow I had left this family and those memories, and I don't want to give you the wrong idea because I adored my mother and father. You know, they tried hard, but you know, crazy meant crazy, and my mother was crazy. I thought she was Italian American. So when I found out that I was crazy, I felt a necessity to amend the first book. And so what I'm trying to do with this book is maybe help to prolong or eradicate the additional 15 years of misery for the young men and women that, like me, it took 11 years before I knew I had a disease. You know, I have a mental dis-ease. It's a brain dis-ease. And 85 million Americans live with this dis-ease. That's 1 in 4. And then 4 in 5 Americans are affected by their loved one's disease. And that 79% of all addictions are co-occurring. We as a country are the most overfed, over-medicated, undernourished in terms of education. Television is sapping the marrow out of our brains, and they're telling us how we should look, and so we feel ugly, and they're telling us that we are consumers. I mean, in the mental health community, they literally call people like me consumers. And these consumers are very proud of being consumers. I went to a NAMI convention and said, I'm a consumer, I'm a consumer. I said, what the fuck, are you guys crazy? Yes.
Yeah, they are.
Right? They spent $4 million to find the what's the word when it's, you know, politically correct, politically correct, word that no one would be offended. Everybody I know that is living with a mental dis-easiness, they're offended. You know, so I don't like, I've always gone the other way. You know, I don't like taking that road. Fuck you, fuck your road, I'm walking this way. So, you know, that's what we're doing. We want to change the vernacular. We think that all of these anti-stigma groups, removing the stigma of mental illness, is creating more stigma. Because what they do is they hide behind the fact that they probably got what we have too. And so they say, please help my sister, please help my brother, please help my father. When in fact 75% of all first graders in the course of their lifetime will deal with some form of mental dis-ease. And if they knew that, they wouldn't be ashamed when they got it in the 3rd grade. That's also why I brought my movie. You know, No Kidding Me 2 is a 501c. And what we do is we raise money, a portion of which will go to No Kidding Me 2. But in raising money, we make content. You know, and I made this movie, and Amy Winehouse, who believes so strongly in my movie, gave me her title song, well, my title song, which was Rehab. And then she went and died. And her father, who loved her dearly, is now building rehab centers for drug addicts, when what he should be doing is building centers to educate children that Whitney Houston and Marilyn Monroe and, you know, and Amy did not die from drug abuse. They died from a mental disease, and their medication was a reaction. You know, when I eat in the morning, it's the way I medicated myself. In the book, I talk about my 7 deadly symptoms. My first one was eating. I ate to feel better. What are you crying for? Will you shut up? Come on, sit down, watch television, I'll make you a sandwich. Right? Then the girls came. Cousin Flory actually got off a plane. I was 12, and he said, where's Joey? And I'd never been to an airport. Where's Joey? Where's my Joey? And I'm going, I'm Joey, I'm Joey, I'm Joey, Flory, that's me, that's me. He goes, Mary, who is this fat kid? Did he eat Joey? And I was mortified, and I wanted to be like him. And he didn't know he hurt me, he didn't know he broke my heart. But I started dieting, and in dieting, I discovered that if I starved myself, another form of euphoria that felt better than stuffing myself. Then it went to shopping. Then when I couldn't buy all of the fancy clothes that I really needed, I stole them. That was the best high I ever had. That is the love of my life. And God damn these fucking cameras. You know, you just can't do it. I'm starting a seminar at Harvard about, you know, hand theft and the impossibilities of stealing. You know, but when people like Giuliani's daughter gets busted for shoplifting, it's not because she needs the sweater. You know, Renona didn't need the sweater. It's the high that's produced. At 10 years old, I said I was going to be in the movies. If I could get into my mother's TV, I would be saved. And so that was my fourth symptom, you know, the symptom, the goal. I knew that there was alcoholism and drug addiction. You know, there was something wrong with Mommy, and it was those goddamn tranquilizers, you know? She'd say, where the fuck are my tranquilizers? And she couldn't get enough of them, and she hated drunks because her father was a drunk. When I did the research for Who's Sorry Now, I found out that my mother was victimized by my grandfather, Dopey Gus. Why did they call him Dopey Gus, Mommy? Because he was fucking crazy. And she would tell these stories, all horrible memories. Never was there a picture. I don't know what my grandfather looks like because there was no pictures in the house. She told me that my cousin Kelly was, Aunt Zillette was the sister to my father, Dopey Gus, my grandpa. And that Kelly was my mother's brother. She believed that because he was fucking his sister, my mother, my Aunt Tilly. Now people with mental disease that go untreated will die 25 years younger than those who are being treated. And so thereby we can save lives. The other thing is that my mother didn't drink. She ate sugar, sugar was her love. And she smoked 4 packs of cigarettes a day.
Good.
You know, cancer killed all of them. So when I started getting what I wanted, what I thought would fill me up here in California, well then I needed to drink because I couldn't get out of the house. I didn't know I was depressed. I also found out when I was 16 years old that by jogging, I ran in the 9th grade, you know, because we had to. I know you, don't I? Yeah.
I don't know, but I hope so.
But you know, the feeling that running gave me, you know, it made me feel better. So for the next 30 years, I would feel like shit. You know, I feel shitty. I go and run, I feel better. Then, finally, I, you know, hit my early 30s, middle 30s, and I found that I was getting fat from the alcohol. So I switched from white wine spritzers to vodka because they said you could, you know, drink only an ounce, just as much calories, and you get that, you know, that much drunker faster. Then I switched to Vicodin, prescription drugs, because it kind of took care of everything. You know, it curbed my appetite, and I could be thin, and I could be happy. You know, what I'd like to see happen is that throughout the country in kindergarten, that we put into the curriculum mental health hygiene. Like we teach kids that tick bites and hair lice is okay. You know, if you see it, tell us, we'll fix it. So kids know that mental diseasiness is part of growing up, and that if you feel something, this is how you say ouch. That's pretty much it. So now I have to read from this book over here, and you know, I'm a shitty cold reader. My own friggin' book, and I'm a shitty cold reader. This review I just read, they're complaining because the copy, they say, what kind of copy editor do they have? Because there's so many mistakes. And my editor kept yelling, you know, Joey, you can't keep changing stuff. I said, but there's more mistakes. She said, that's not how it works. I said, but I'm dyslexic. It works differently with me. So in this review, the lady says, whoever was your editor, you should fire her. So I'm going to send it to Amanda. All right, so this is the second chapter of the book. I'm telling this story. And chapter 2 is Abandon All Hope for a Better Past. And how long should I be reading?
We want people to buy books, so not long, like maybe 5 pages.
Okay. Why don't I just put it on a timer? Abandon all hope for a better past. Now the dream was always the same. I'm flying. That's how I usually know I'm dreaming. I love that feeling. It's, you know, in my younger years I flew a lot. I'm never too high, nothing too scary, maybe 30 feet tops. And I'm flying now, see, I'm floating, you feel me? Maybe 30 feet, and I'm also looking sharp. I'm wearing a very nice cocoa brown silk tuxedo with tails. Think Liberace. I got my high hat with a brown velvet trim and patent leather kicks. So I'm dreaming in living color. I'm floating above the freeway, getting ready to get the lay of the land. I'm going to the Academy Awards. I've been nominated for Best Actor. Now I'm sure I'm dreaming. Now this dream, each time I have it, it's a little different. Today I'm floating above a big white stretch limousine provided by my studio. But one thing always remains the same. I'm always late. And if you've ever seen a movie, you know that something bad's going to happen. So from my point of view, at this point, I see traffic and it's moving slowly. And then I see the sunroof of the white limo and it's opening. And there she is. God love her. Mommy. Mommy's been dead for 20 years, but out she comes. Now she's banging on the roof of the limo, screaming to the driver, and they are heading south on the 101. Wait a minute. South? What the fuck? He's going the wrong way? The Kodak Theater is north. Oh, but it becomes clear to me why Mommy's hanging out the sunroof, wielding a bouquet of orchids like a sword, and she's yelling at the surrounding cars to make way so that we can get the exit. I am supposed to be on a red carpet by now, and somehow this dope, a professional limousine driver, has been going in the opposite direction of the theater. I realize I'm being pulled like a balloon on a string. I'm connected to something inside that limo by my umbilical cord, which is popping through my shirt buttons. I'm driving, the driver's going now, picking up speed. We've gotten off of the exit, and it's bumpy, and we're going faster, and I'm being jerked from side to side, ducking telephone wires and other hair-raising obstacles. My belly is being torn. I'm fighting the pain, and as I pull myself down toward the limo by the cord, each time I take hold of my lifeline, I can see that it's filled with such vibrant colors. And they say you can't dream in color. It's all mixing and moving under the milky white skin like a Technicolor sausage. And I see remnants of my past, pieces of my future flickering through that tube. I'm moments away from reaching the sunroof that will lead me inside the limo, and I call out to Mommy, but she can't hear me. Our driver's moving fast now, down Fountain Avenue, now buzzing through traffic, and I'm going from one car to the other, horns are blazing, yanking at me, the car is yanking side to side, the limo, and the guy nearly collides, no, I nearly collide with a telephone pole. I'm holding on to my lifeline for dear life. Finally, I grasp the sunroof, white-knuckled, Mommy disappears inside, and I pull myself through the embrace of that limo interior, and I'm tumbling down, and I tumble down on my Aunt Rosie and my Aunt Anna. Mommy's up against this glass partition. Mommy is sautéing the driver. How did you get on the wrong freeway, you moron? What are you, fucking blind? You seeing-eyed dog on strike? My Joey is up for Best Actor. You working for the competition, you prick? He's winning the Oscar tonight. Now, as Mommy surgically is giving this asshole an additional asshole, I am gnawing with my teeth to free myself from my umbilical cord. Then, suddenly, I notice something that's eerily familiar about the new car smell is gone, and now it's replaced with smoke. And the smoke is familiar, like the smoke of Mommy's Chesterfields, overpowering the place. and we shift. We're no longer on Fountain Avenue, we're in Hoboken. From Hollywood to Hoboken. And now my sister Mary Ann's in the car, and she's only maybe 15 years younger, and we're parked in front of Fayela's funeral parlor. That's Daddy's limousine that we're in, and I see 6 pallbearers, and they're trying to jam this coffin through our open passenger side door. See, I'm pushing the coffin back with all my strength, refusing to let it in the car. Finally, I'm able to slam the door shut, and I catch sight of my reflection in the door window. I'm one of the pallbearers. My sister Mary Ann is crying, reacting to the events from Mommy's funeral. I remembered her crying, and my Aunt Dana, observing the drama while comforting my sister, is trying to hug Mary Ann while holding her false teeth in one hand and sticking a piece of Trident onto her upper plate with the other. Mary Ann's now sobbing. She's, no more Mommy, no more Mommy. And my Aunt Dana, while she's comforting Mary Ann, looks into my eyes and she whispers, it's too late now. I open the opposite passenger door and I hear screaming from a crowd. Now it's exterior, red carpet, 4 pair of feet are running along, 3 ladies in our evening gowns and huffing and puffing. We're in front of a big glass door at the Kodak Theater. We've passed the red carpets and the screaming fans. We're all sweating, running out of breath. Mommy is next to me now, and her gown is dark, it's growing dark, indicating passage of time. The crew, the photographers, they're all piling up steaks. It's a wrap. The workers are rolling red carpets and sweeping out cigarette butts and plastic champagne glasses. Hollywood moves on. And this is what's left. They don't look all these as that happy, and I don't feel happy either. I'm trying to explain to the gatekeeper, who, by the way, resembles that gatekeeper from The Wizard of Oz. What happened and why we were late, and, you know, can you give us a break? Because I won't get my free gift back. But he can't, because he's only following orders. I'm too late, and that's fucking that. Mommy tries to sweet talk the guy by pulling him aside, and she says, listen, douchebag. And he says, look, lady, and she goes, Strunza, open the door. How many times do I gotta tell you, ma'am? And during all of this commotion with them yelling with each other, his voice starts to trail off, and I can see my gatekeeper beginning to change form, and he's now my 4th grade teacher. The woman who took my reading books away from me that year, and she's suggesting that I would wind up growing up to be a flop. Then she becomes every other person or teacher who's ever said to me, you're lazy, you're stupid, you can't. Now suddenly, I can see that the gatekeeper is me. It's me. I'm the one who's been getting in the way of me all along. I mean, it's biblical. Joey is the gatekeeper. What did I hold back? Keep myself from going too far. I could have been somebody. I should have been looking out for me. Where's the fucking rule book for this shit? By now, Mommy has seen enough, and she doesn't accept this cock and bull story. So she says, fuck this. And we see her click her heels 3 times, just like Dorothy. And she's saying, there's no place like Rome. There's no place like Rome. Let's get the fuck out of here. Now, we're determined people. We're not going to take no for an answer. We got tickets, and they ain't scalped. Now, my dream is shifting. And we're changing. And we're in a tunnel. I can hear Billy Crystal making jokes. And the audience is laughing. And we're crawling on our bellies in this air conditioning duct. And our shoes are thumping on the aluminum siding and there's dust everywhere. We hear music and it's getting closer and louder. And the winner is, and did they, do the best actor yet? I don't know. So the audience is applauding. Suddenly my mother gets a turquoise dress caught on a nail, and the same one that she was buried in. And son of a bitch, but she's coughing because of the Chesterfields, and I finally get the thing loose and we kick open the thing and we're down on the ground now. Now finally, I'm on the outside of that door that I never get through because, bam, I always wake up. I never find out if I won or anybody else did. But magically, my ladies are now safely seated. And Mommy is telling George Clooney what a dick the door guy was. Now, over Mommy's chatter with George, I can hear Annette Bening on the public address system, and she goes, "The Oscar for Best Actor in a Motion Picture goes to," and I wake up. But wait a minute, what gives? The dream begins again, yet this time I'm still awake. I'm in back of the house and I see other people on stage right in a blue tux and I'm kissing my wife. I've been called up onto stage to get a trophy for Best Supporting Actor in a TV series. Wait, this isn't a dream, it's a nightmare. My brain is screaming, this can't be right, I'm supposed to win an Oscar. Winning an Emmy is like being the world's tallest midget. Who always leave them laughing.